This content is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Here's why you should invest in Pokémon, seriously. You might be thinking, how do I actually make money by holding a bunch of colorful cardboard? I don't know anything about Pokémon, and that's okay. All you need to know is that I crunched all the numbers for you. I compared the prices of sealed Elite Trainer Boxes from every set since January 1st, 2023 to the S&P 500 over the same period. And what I found might shock you. The Pokémon investment did way better than the S&P 500 and it's more stable too. All of the prices I used are based on recent sold listings from eBay and TCG Player, which indicate a fair value for what the products are worth right now. And for the S&P 500, I used this Vanguard ETF which tracks the S&P 500. In this video, we are going back in time to show you the exact numbers, the set releases that made all the difference, and walk you through the simple investment strategy. I used a monthly budget of $100 to buy the newest ETB from each set and another $100 to buy ETF shares for the S&P 500. This is the ultimate showdown. But before we start our investment journey together, there are 3 simple rules to this strategy. Rule number 1. Buy the most recent big set, so no holiday sets like Trick or Trade or McDonald's promos. To know if it's a big set or not, it's very simple. If you can buy an ETB, it's a big set. Rule number 2. Only buy regular ETBs, no other sealed products. This is for simplicity reasons. Regular ETBs are accessible for most people and they have a good value to money ratio. And rule number 3. Buy as much as the budget allows. The budget is $100 each month, and the leftover money from the previous month will be added to the budget of the next month. Now let's go back in time to January 2023. The newest set, Crown Zenith, was released on the 20th of January. We buy 2 ETBs at MSRP for $40 each. Our current portfolio has a value of almost $80 and we take the leftover balance to the next month. For the S&P 500, we buy a share of the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF for $71. Now let's go to February. Since the newest set is still Crown Zenith, we buy some more. Our budget allows us to buy 3 ETBs now. We currently hold 5 ETBs, which are worth around $200. The S&P 500 went slightly up and we buy another share. In March of 2023, the Scarlet and Violet base set dropped. We buy 2 ETBs at MSRP for $40 each, and as you can see, our portfolio begins to gain some value from our Crown Zenith investment. For the S&P 500, we are able to buy 2 shares this month using the leftover balance from last month. On to April. In April, no new set is released, so we continue to buy some more Scarlet and Violet base set ETBs. This time we're able to buy 3 of them. For the S&P 500, we add another share to the portfolio. Still no new set in May 2023, so we continue to buy 2 more ETBs of the base set. The price for the S&P 500 is starting to increase again, which also increases our overall portfolio value ever so slightly. On the 9th of June, the newest Pokémon set Paldea Evolved released. We buy 2 of the newest ETBs for $50 each, which is the new MSRP, and we move on to July. Here in July there are no big changes. We do the same as in June. As you can see, our overall portfolio value starts to gain some momentum. The S&P 500 made a significant leap here from $78 to $83, yet our S&P budget allows us to buy 2 shares this month. On to August. On the 11th of August, Obsidian Flames hit the shelves. We can only afford 2 ETBs, as these also cost $50 each. For the S&P 500, we buy another share and move on to September. In September, one of the most iconic sets dropped, the very popular 151 set. The MSRP slightly increased to $55, but we are still able to pick up 2 ETBs for now. In October, we are still able to buy 2 more ETBs since we have some leftover balance from the previous month. Let's go to November. Since November is a cold month, Pokémon released Paradox Rift to warm us up a little bit. The MSRP for an ETB dropped to $49.99, so we are able to pick up 2 of them. Now, let's continue to December. This month we just rinse and repeat. We pick up 2 more ETBs and add them to our collection. Now, before we move on to 2024, let's take a look at the numbers. We are currently holding 26 ETBs, but we can clearly see that even in this relatively short amount of time, we gained an unrealized profit of over $400. This is massive compared to the roughly $100 for the S&P 500. Let's see if we can increase this even more. January rolls around and we get a new set, Paldean Fates. The MSRP for these ETBs increased again to $55. We are only able to afford 1 of these and move on to the next month. This month we are able to buy 2 ETBs since we had some leftover money from last month. On to March. In March we got a new set called Temporal Forces. The MSRP is back down to $50, so we can buy 2 of the latest ETBs. In April we do the same as in March. We buy 2 more ETBs of Temporal Forces at MSRP and continue to May. In May we got blessed with Twilight Masquerade. The MSRP went back up to $55. we buy 2 copies of the latest ETB and continue. In June, we continue to buy some more Twilight Masquerade since there's no new release. We add 2 more copies to our collection and move on to July. July rolls around and we can buy 2 more ETBs this month. Our current portfolio value has now reached over $3,000, while we only invested $1,900. We hold on to our products and continue to August. After 2 months without a new release, we finally have something new to invest in, the Shrouded Fable set. Lucky for us, the MSRP dropped back down to $50. We can buy 2 ETBs and move on to September. And what is this? Stellar Crown releases just 1 month after Shrouded Fable. We buy 2 more of them at MSRP for $50 each and continue to October. Yep, you know the drill. 2 more Stellar Crown ETBs at $50 a pop. On to November. Here in November we got greeted by Pikachu with his newest set, Surging Sparks. These are still $50 a piece, so we pick up 2 and continue to December. In December we add 2 ETBs of Surging Sparks to our collection. Notice that we're not able to buy a share for the S&P 500 since the price is higher than our budget allows. It is now time for another recap. Our portfolio has now grown to $4,200 in the span of just 2 years. While the S&P 500 is doing alright, Pokémon continues to show its potential. Now let's continue with our journey. In January, the amazing set Prismatic Evolutions released. Sadly the price went back up, so in this month we're only able to buy 1 ETB. In February, we used some of the leftover balance from last month and we're able to pick up 2 more ETBs this time. On to March. At the end of March, Journey Together dropped. The MSRP went back down to $50, so we are able to buy 2 of them for now. In April, we are able to buy 2 more ETBs at MSRP. Notice that our total value has now increased to over $5,000, which is amazing. Let's move on to May. In May, we got Destined Rivals. MSRP went back up again to $55. Since we have plenty of leftover balance, we can afford 2 ETBs and move on to June. Once again, since no new set is released, we pick up 2 more copies of Destined Rivals and move on to July. July dropped 2 new bangers, which are currently the newest sets, Black Bolt and White Flare. MSRP went up to $60, which allows us to buy 1 of each. And finally, we move on to August. And here we are now. We buy 1 more copy of White Flare. Also, we are not able to buy another S&P 500 share, since the price is higher than our budget allows. And this is where the journey ends. Or did it just start? We have now established that investing in Pokémon would have been profitable, but there are still a few caveats. While this strategy is profitable and straightforward, it is very hard to pull off. Nowadays, buying at MSRP is actually very hard. A lot of bots buy out the stock in seconds, and there's some crazy stuff happening in physical stores. There are a lot of scalpers buying up the product, which drives up the prices even further. However, the craziest part is, even if you would have paid 30% on top of the MSRP, the strategy would still have beaten the S&P 500. While investing in both Pokémon and the S&P 500 shows a profit, the results speak for themselves. But do you think it's worth it to buy and store some cardboard in your closet? Or do you prefer to invest in other things like the S&P 500? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you want more data-driven Pokémon videos like this, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.